Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Please subscribe if you haven't yet already. There's a red button beneath me somewhere, and if you click on that you'll be subscribed. There's also a white bell next to that, and if you click on that you will get an alert every time I upload something new, which would be awesome. And if you like this video, please click the thumbs up button. That would make me very happy. Today's video is the 8th video for Stranger Things Season 2. The episode is the Mind Flayer. And the makeup that I'm using today, I'll put a link in the description box down below. I just checked and everything is still in stock, is by a company called Pretties For Your Face. And all of the things that I'm using are Stranger Things themed. This is the Shadow Monster palette. The colors are Vines, Ego, Mad Max, Hawkins, and Breathe. And I also bought some singles that are in this ColourPop palette. I will show you this one thing. There's a highlighter that I got. And it's interesting, I just got these. This is called the Mind Flayer. It's a highlighter, but it's gonna be a fail because it's very, very purple. I can't tell if this is an overspray or if this is actually what the color is going to be ultimately, but it's not a good highlighter now because it's very dark, but I will definitely use it as an eyeshadow. So if you'd like to see how I got this look, and I will leave a link in the description box down below to these products, and hear a little bit about the Mind Flayer. Please keep watching. All right, starting from the top is the Mind Flayer highlighter, which is a little terrifying, so I'll see how that works. I think it's probably going to become more of a highlighter as I continue to use it. Coffee and Contemplation, 11, Mirkwood, Barb, Upside Down, Demogorgon, Vines, Ego, Mad Max, Hawkins, and Breathe. Okay. I'm really excited. So mercifully, this episode opens where the spy ended. So it's as though we can just pretend like the Lost Sister never happened. With the exception of understanding that Elle had some important character development happening during that time. And we're in Hawkins. I'm going to go in with Ego with a flat brush over my whole lid just to set down the MAC Painterly paint pot a little bit. And I go in with Mad Max with a kind of medium, it's a Sigma E38. I'm gonna try to stick to this palette, and if I do that, this is gonna be really the only color that I can use for blending, and that's fine. I may go in with something else later. But so yeah, I may need to, or not. But Mike realizes that Will is the super spy and is connected, and I am going to go in with my Naked Ultimate Basics. I'll go in with Magnet because we're at Hawkins. And they put Will to sleep, but it's too late. And then Owens, Hopper, Bob, Joyce, Mike, and Will, unconscious Will, who Hopper is carrying, are in that central room together. The 6 of them are in there together. And then they see all of the multiple screens and all the different dogs out there, and then the power goes out, and then there are these sounds in the dark. Felt like Norma Desmond when I just said that. In the dark. I love Sunset Boulevard. It's my favorite movie. All right, I'm a giant dork. So this is going to be difficult because all the colors are amazing, but I'm just going to do the best that I can do. I'm starting out with 3 clean flat brushes, my Morphe M124, my Little Real Techniques definer, and then my MAC brush from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I think what I'm going to do is first go in with the M124 with Coffee and Contemplation. And then we are at Max and Billy's house. Actually, I'll bring you in a little bit so you can see the color better. All right, so we are at Max and Billy's, and we see how, like, where the bullying came from, like how Billy has become who he is. His dad is just a giant jerk. His dad is Neil. The sound in that scene was really intense. The sound coming from his father. It's interesting. The sound coming from his father and the sound later with Will when they're kind of throwing information at him. It sounds like there's something else coming out of both of their mouths. Like it's maybe something other than human. It felt a little Twin Peaksy. The times when, if you've never seen Twin Peaks, there's this character, Bob, who sometimes, spoiler alert, embodies people. And sometimes the voice of the person talking occasionally sounds a little bit different, and not often, but sometimes. And it kind of felt like that with Neil, and it kind of feels like that later with Will. Like I wonder if it's the sound of the shadow monster, of the Mind Flayer. And I did appreciate, again, with what they're doing with the packaging, that he has a bottle of Aquanet. Not the aerosol, but the squirty air Aquanet. And it's exactly like what it was. It's kind of like not a straight bottle, but it kind of goes down and then it kind of goes out like a pear shape, but very thin on the, I don't know, it was amazing. It was exactly what it was like back in the day. I can almost smell it thinking about it. And during this whole situation, Billy looks like he's on the verge of tears, which is just really intense. Okay, I have to go in with Barb. I have to do it. I'm gonna go in with the same brush, not wetting it or anything. And yeah, he looks like he is, oh wow, that's pretty. He looks like he's on the verge of tears, kind of during this whole thing. I really appreciate what the actor is doing with this scene, because we have seen him just be a bully the whole time. And I've seen the actor talking in IRL, in real life, and he, you know, he seems like a normal person. But we've only seen him one-dimensional on the show. So it's nice to see a different, wow, a different side of him. I'm gonna flip this over and I'm gonna go in with Mirkwood on the outer edge of my eye. Yeah, so he has to cancel his date, and I also appreciated the detail of him. I think he squirts cologne on his hand and puts it down his pants. Oh, Billy. All right, so then he is, we don't see him again, but he is supposed to be going out to find Max. Flip it over again and go back in with Barb, just to kind of blend that a little bit more. Barb is a lot stronger than Mirkwood. It's interesting because it's a lighter color, but the pigment is coming through, I think, better for Barb. And I'm gonna go in with my small Real Techniques, this is colorful, Real Techniques detailer brush, and I'm gonna go in with Vines on my inner kind of part. I'm just gonna be stripey, yeah? Because I wanna use as many of these colors as I possibly can, and that's just what it ends up being. Getting a little bit of transfer up here, but I can easily kind of blend that out. And then I'm gonna flip it over, same brush, and I'm gonna go in with Upside Down on my inner corner. And I'm gonna try to come back later if I can remember to do it. Wow, that is a pretty color. With this color again, just to go underneath my eye. Is there anything else that I can use? Maybe I'll use some more color later. I think for now I'll just go in with my Real Techniques brush and blend this a little bit more. And I'm also gonna blend just these colors. I'm just gonna take this brush and put it on my lid and just kind of move the colors around a little bit. So I don't want it to seem too stripey. I want it to be a little bit blended. All right, go in with my Tom Ford Eye Defining Pen. Then we are with the kids on the tracks. The kids and Steve. I guess Steve, well, Steve's in high school, but he's one of the older kids. So this is right after, again, episode 6, when they had just left the junkyard and they have seen that all of the Demodogs have left to go somewhere else, and they realize that they're going to Hawkins, it's going to Hawkins. Yeah, and then as they're yelling at each other, Steve notices the sounds. So I may have spoken too quickly. They're going away because the Demodogs have gone away, but Steve notices as they're arguing that they've gone to Hawkins. And they're yelling because that is when Lucas finds out that Dustin kept Dart and you broke the rule of law and all that stuff that they're always talking about. And yeah, and then they start going towards the noise. That's what Max says. Why are you going towards the noise? Then we're back at Hawkins, and this reminded me a lot of Cabin in the Woods. The scientists, kind of the melee happening in the hallway with the scientists and the monsters. Difference is that there's only one kind of monster in Stranger Things, and there are different kinds of monsters in Cabin in the Woods. And so they're in this room, the power is out, and Owens is using a paper map to try to map out where the exits are. But someone has to go turn on the breakers again to make the power come back up. And Bob realizes that it's gonna have to be him because it requires someone who knows BASIC, which was a programming language, still is a programming language. I'm sure there are people that use it. I learned it in high school. We had a choice to learn BASIC or Pascal, and I learned BASIC. I don't know it formally. I couldn't have saved. I definitely, back in the day, I knew a lot of basic line commands, so I might have been able to help a little bit, but I digress. Pull you out a little bit and I'll move on to my face. Then when Bob and Hopper have left the central room and Hopper is showing Bob how to use the gun, just point and squeeze. Bob says to Hopper, "Don't wait for me." And it feels like there's this subtle understanding that he's probably not going to make it, and to go and like take care of Joyce and take care of the kids, which is just really intense. The actors are able to convey a lot of emotion in several scenes, in a lot of scenes actually in this episode, but this one in particular, I really appreciated the exchange. It was very subtle, but it was very clear to me, it felt like Sean Astin wasn't going to live, that Bob wasn't going to live. Then the kids meet up. Jonathan and Nancy come up, and then the kids are coming out of the woods. And so they're all together. And it's not as awkward. It's awkward, but it's not as awkward as I would think it would be, I guess, because they're literally in a life and death situation right now. And then we go to Bob, and he's being a superhero Bob Newby with basic. And he turns the power back on, and Owens is being kind of like so I've never played D&D, but I'm understanding more about it kind of from reading more about it as a result of having watched this show and just from having watched things in the show. So when I say that Owens was being a dungeon master, I don't know a lot about that, but I do know that that's what, I think Mike was the dungeon master before, but it's the person who kind of follows you, who leads you through things. And that's what Owens was doing for Bob. He turns the sprinkler on, and then as he's leaving, there's a shot of him forgetting his gun, and then you know Bob's not going to survive when he forgets his gun. And he's hiding, and Owens is kind of helping him, but it's so sad how he dies. It's almost slow motion, and he gets out there, and he, honestly, like if he hadn't taken the second to look at Joyce lovingly, and if he had just run, he would have lived. It's all just very sad. But the fact that he dies, I think, is the thing that pushes Joyce over the edge and makes her want to go kill it. And also it opens up a possibility later down the road someday for a Jopper, Joyce and Hopper pairing. And I remembered to go back in. This is my little MAC brush, and now I'm going to go in with Upside Down. That's the color that I used before. It's lighter, so I probably use that. Demogorgon's a little bit darker. Demogorgon's a little bit darker than the Upside Down. These colors are so pretty. I am getting some transfer, but it is not the end of the world. It's actually, it looks kind of nice. It's just giving me kind of a metallic crease a little bit. It's not bad at all. All right, brows. Oh yeah, and then too, it's so interesting. So right after he's dying, he's not yet dead. He's dying this kind of horrible death. Hopper should be the hero, because Hopper is the one shooting the monsters. Hopper is the one getting Joyce out of the building. Hopper is, and Mike, I guess, too, and Hopper also is the one carrying Will. So he's doing everything. But the way that the scene is shot and the way that the actors look at each other, and I guess just also the way that the characters have been developed, it feels like Bob is the hero in this scene, which is just, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how the Duffer Brothers are geniuses. I don't think that they wrote and directed the last episode, now that I think about it. Just everything that they're doing is just genius. Yeah, it definitely feels like Bob is the hero, even though Hopper is doing all these literally heroic things. And I love that the hero, Bob Newby superhero, saved the day and was able to get everyone safe by using basic. It's just, I just love all of that happening at the same time. I got so excited, I'm realizing now that I didn't use any face primer. Oops. Going with some extra setting spray in the end. So then we are, I don't know why we're at Joyce's. So everybody goes to Joyce's, and they're all in his truck, so he could have driven wherever he wanted to go. No, they're not actually. The other car is with them, but I don't know why they didn't go to the police department, where they could probably, not that you can like lock yourself away. If they're going to escape from Hawkins, they're going to be able to get into anywhere. But at least at the police station, you'd assume that he has more weapons and that maybe better communication, whatever. Then, oh, I love this scene too. When everyone is just kind of decompressing, I guess, what happened at Marc Jacobs, Airblush and Kink and Kisses. I love the scene when Hopper comes in and Joyce is just, heartbroken. And all he does is sits on the ground with her. and he's kind of accompanying her. And one of the things that I've learned in life is that you can't fix things for people. Like, there's nothing he's going to be able to do to fix that, to fix the fact that Bob just died and that he died terribly and that they all saw it. But he can accompany her. He can make her be completely 100% clear that she's not alone. And that is, well, I have a lot. I was going to say it's one of my favorite scenes, certainly in this episode, but it's probably one of my favorite scenes in all of Stranger Things. But who am I fooling? I have a lot of favorite scenes in Stranger Things. I'm just doing all that I can do to avoid putting on that highlighter. I'm afraid I'm going to have a purple stripe in my face, but we'll see. Mike sees the gifts that Bob brought for Will when he was sick and starts talking about the fact that Bob, just kind of eulogizing him, that he was the one who started the AV club and all the things that he did, makes him more of a real character for the kids because they didn't really know him at all. And so he's becoming this kind of real character for them, real person for them. All right, so here we go. I haven't used a brush. I'm picking it up on the brush. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So the brush is very purple right now. I'm gonna, well, it's actually not. No, okay. I'm just gonna do it. I don't know what I'm so afraid of. It's just makeup. I'm going in with the Mind Flayer, which is appropriate because we're just about to start talking about the Mind Flayer. How bad is that? That is dark. Oh no, that's not good. Okay. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to fix it. I'm gonna go in with the blending brush that I was using. This is a Flower Beauty sponge. You don't wanna have, just back into makeup, you don't wanna have something dark on the high points of your cheeks. So I'm gonna go back in with a little foundation. And the reason why I wetted that is because, well, kind of to blend it, but also because it's really difficult to go in. You can do it, but it's not easy because it ends up getting very cakey. To go in over, oh, that's working. To go in over a powder with a liquid. So I wanted to dampen that a little bit, and okay, mischief managed. Well, that was a fail. I will use that as an eyeshadow maybe, but I won't use it as a highlighter. I can't tell if that purple thing is an overspray that's just very thick or if that's what the color's going to be. So that remains to be seen. I'm going to forego the highlighter and just go back in with my Marc Jacobs. All right. So yeah, the Mind Flayer screwed up my face and also kind of screws everything up for the people in Hawkins and the people in the buyer's house. Rimmel, Stay Matte, and for lips, let me just kind of see. I would like to do red. Can I do red? All right, as much as I want to go in with red, it seems like it's a little bit too much. So I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat and matte lipstick in Pillow Talk. I'll zoom you through this and I'll see you in just a moment. And I'm going to give myself some Too Faced Hangover RX spray to set things, especially because I didn't use any primer. All right. Oh yeah. Then Mike figures out, so we're back in the house and Mike's talking about the AV Club and Bob and everything. And he figures out that the hive mind thing is happening and that Will and the shadow monster and the demogorgons and everything is connected. And the sound is amazing. Dustin says it's the Mind Flayer and Lucas snaps and it like everything in the room gets quiet and all you can hear is him snapping and a little bit of the echo of him snapping. It's just amazing. All right, so then we're talking about the Mind Flayer and this kind of being that's going to take everything from you. This being that hates anything that's not it, like the races that are not it, and the human race is one of the races that is not it. Really interesting contrast between Hopper and the kids, because the kids are using this kind of not real, I mean, it's D&D, but what they're dealing with is not, I mean, it's real, but it's who knows what it is. So it's interesting that Hopper and the kids are kind of arguing about the best way to deal with this. And Joyce wants to kill it. I need to kill it because of what it did to Bob. Mike figures out that Will's going to know its weakness. He says he can't spy if he doesn't know where he is. So then they redo the shed, and it's an amazing montage as they're doing that. We then see several scenes of kind of duos. We see Steve and Nancy talking to each other. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's okay. Dustin and Lucas talking about Max, and Dustin saying that he could feel the electricity, and if, you know, if he wants to replace Dustin in the group with Max, he can. It's just so sad, because that's not what it's about. Then Max and Mike in the kitchen talking about Elle, and then Jonathan and Joyce talking about whether or not it's going to work. And Jonathan says it'll work if he's still in there. Then we get the interrogation, and this is where it sounds like it's the actor, but also it sounds like something different, because he's, no offense against the actor, but he seems like he's not quite like hitting puberty yet. He's kind of at that age, but there are points when he's screaming that his voice gets so deep. It doesn't sound like it's coming from him. It sounds like maybe it's edited in, like maybe it's coming from the monster. Then they start talking about all the memories. Joyce talks about the day he was born, his birthday with the crayons. Jonathan talks about the day that their dad left, and we get some backstory about how they built Castle Byers. And Mike talks to Will about the first day that they met in kindergarten. Really, really interesting the way that the actor who plays Will plays the tension between the Will who's inside of him, who remembers all these things that these people are talking about, and the monster who's like pushing through and trying to take over everything. It's really striking. Very, very slight changes in his face where you can kind of see him like this is the character Will, and this is not the character Will. Then the Morse code, which is genius, and of course Steve doesn't know what Morse code is. And then they realize he's still in there, and then Jonathan brings in the boombox with the Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go, which seems like now it maybe has a double meaning, because I think Will is trying to hang on, and he's gonna stay, I think. I hope. God, they can't, I hope. Okay, you should stay, Will. The Morse code message that he finally gives is close gate, like close the gate underneath Hawkins, or close the Hellmouth, or wasn't there something that they had to close at the end of Ghostbusters too? Close this thing. Close this thing that was opened up by supernatural means. Then the phone rings, and Will knows, I don't understand this either, because it's just a phone, but maybe the echoes and everything, Will realizes where he is because of the phone ringing. And then his eyes start to flutter, and it's clear that he's sending the demodogs. He isn't, but that the monster inhabiting him is kind of sending in, the mind flayer is sending in the demodogs. And oh, and Nancy with the gun is awesome. That Hopper has an extra gun, and he's trying to give it to Jonathan, and Jonathan's kind of clueless. And Nancy says, I can do this. And he like throws her the gun, and she picks it up, and she's ready and everything. And seeing the group waiting for what's happening is amazing. And then one of the demodogs comes through the window, and it's dead. And the noises are still happening. But then the door opens. The chain on the door opens with kind of someone somehow moving it. And it opens, and it's Elle. And she's there. I'm getting chills. Oh my God. Okay, there's one more episode left. I have to contain myself. Woo! That was amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you are watching this and what you're thinking about it, and just, ugh. I really hope there's gonna be a season 3. This is so good. If it had continued like last episode, but oh my God, this is exactly what I love about it, and I want more and more and more. So thank you so much for watching. A lot to do in the world, a lot to do on YouTube, and I really appreciate the time that you took to spend with me today. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.